Hey everybody, welcome, live from Las Vegas, the Mirage in Las Vegas for what I like to call the webinar. Thank you everybody for joining me today. My name is Chris Matan, EXP Realty. And on today's webinar, what I like to discuss is multifamily referrals and kind of how I tie that all up into my business and where that EXP piece all falls into place. So a little bit about myself. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. That's my market. And been in the business 27 years. I was licensed in 1994, believe it or not. And obviously, I've seen a ton of changes over the years, predominantly with technology, but the basics are still always the same. And my start in the business was not unlike a lot of yours. We wanted some freedom. We wanted to work for ourselves. We wanted to own our own business. And those were all things that I saw growing up. My parents had their own business. My parents and my family, they came from another country it was that whole American dream narrative. They came with no money, no education, no language, and was able to build something for themselves. And that was my community growing up. And I've always kind of kept that chip on my shoulder. I've always been that guy that thought, if these people can come over to this country and succeed and achieve and do all these things, there's no reason why I can't, with language and opportunity that's in front of me. And really none of us. We all have the opportunity. We're all able to go out and just kind of take action and achieve. And just got to keep that chip on your shoulder a little bit. Keep on keeping on. So growing up, what I saw was my uncles doing, they came over and they were janitors essentially. And, they were taking care of these apartment buildings and condo buildings for management companies and stuff like that. And when they would go on vacation, I would fill in for them. So I would kind of see and learn the operation of an apartment building. But more importantly, I saw the benefit of owning as they did. So they started buying apartment buildings. Really, at the time, I don't think they had any special foresight as to where these investments would take them. They were basically buying another job because that's what they knew. And they were able to talk to tenants properly. They were able to fix things, and they just knew the operation of a building. And that's what I learned. And I saw them grow and succeed and kind of build this wealth and portfolio along the way. So that was my initial, that was the seed really to me getting into this business. I thought that I could do that. And, you're working for yourself, the path of least resistance. You go out and get your real estate license, and now all of a sudden you're working for yourself. So that's what I did. And what I kind of figured out early was that, everybody kind of, we're taught to have a niche, right? And when it comes down to it, this webinar is about multifamily and referrals, but it's about a niche. Your niche might be condos, it might be land, it might be office buildings, it might be a specific neighborhood or subdivision. And to create that niche, you are, what you're trying to do is you're trying to become an expert in that niche. And that's what's going to drive the referrals to you. So multifamily for me, when I got my license, I was 20 years old when I got my license. I sat down with my managing broker and, we kind of came up with a plan on what do you want to do. So I didn't even realize it at the time, but I actually did have a business plan. And that was to do a few deals, make some commissions, buy a building. Do a few deals, make some commissions, buy a building. And when you get into that space, opportunity tends to open itself up to you. Now all of a sudden you're refinancing and you're flipping. I got into flipping contracts and buying and holding and rehabbing and partnering on certain deals. I was doing condo conversions. I was doing building single family new construction ground up. So all these opportunities came to me because of the fact that I kind of got into that niche and met the players. And what I found with multifamily is that the pool is very small, especially when you get into the bigger stuff. It's always the same sharks kind of floating around and swimming around. And if you become known in that space and you can align yourselves with some of those guys, you'd be surprised on the business that you can generate and the referrals that you can generate from them. Another thing what I learned is that prospecting for multifamily property is very easy. It's a very easy conversation to have. what I was doing, this is back in the 90s, there wasn't internet lead generation and stuff like that. There was hardly email. You literally were calling on the phone and, at night, because you were calling landlines more times than not. And you were talking to these owners, and I would look for, if I'm driving around, I would look for a generic looking for rent sign. Or if I'm calling from the newspaper, I'd look for a generic ad that had some obscure number, not some management company. And 9 times out of 10, you're getting in touch with the owner operator. In those days, a lot of those guys were owner operators. They weren't these institutional buyers and institutional owners. So you get these guys on the phone, and all of a sudden they want to talk because they're proud of what they got, and they're always looking for a deal. My script at the time was essentially, hey, I saw your sign outside for rent. Are you interested in buying any more properties? Everybody asks, do you want to sell? But if you come at it from a different angle and you say, do you want to buy? Of course they want to buy. They're investors, they're business people, and they're in the business. So inevitably, the canned answer is, yeah, I'm always looking. What do you got? You got a deal? I'm looking for a deal, so and so. So I would basically get into conversation with these guys, build some rapport, and hopefully get to a meeting. And one of my success stories that I tell to this day, and I'm going to tell you right now, and it's one thing that's always kind of like kept me going and kept me clear on what this business is all about. I got on the phone, I called a guy, I said exactly that. I said, hey, I saw your for rent ad. Are you looking to buy any more buildings? He said, yes, I am. Come visit me. So I did. I went to his business at the time. I think he still does. He had an auto body shop. So I walked in. Before I even got a chance to actually introduce myself, he stopped me and he said, my father knows you. He said, do whatever you say. Now, I'm a 22-year-old kid, basically newer in the business. That felt good to me because I all of a sudden had some kind of street credibility out there. And that kind of like ties into the referral piece of this presentation as well. Because now all of a sudden, the guy that I'm going to meet was, I kind of got some credibility from the old man. And the old man tell him, do whatever Chris says. And now all of a sudden he knows and trusts me. All I got to do now is get him to like me, which, for me wasn't very difficult, right? So anyway, I sat down with him, and to make a long story short, this was back in the day with carbon copy contracts. So I came to meet with him with about a stack of 8 or 10 contracts. He signed the bottom of every one of them, sent me out, and we ended up buying 6 buildings together over 18 months. So what did I learn? I learned that number one, the conversation and the phone call was fairly easy to have. So you kind of get over that fear of calling. But number two, one client can turn into multiple deals. You could 10x your client, your lifetime client, the value. What am I trying to say? The lifetime value of the client, right? You're selling a single family home, that person may stay in the home for 7 to 10 years. Maybe they're going to refer you to a friend or family, but the lifetime value of an investor type client is much greater. So you can get a lot more with a lot less. And I learned that very, very early on. And that's what attracted me and kept me going in the multifamily space. Because then I'm also dealing with business owners. When you own a multifamily property or any real estate investment property, you're in fact a business owner because that's a business for you to a degree. And a lot of those guys are business owners in something else. So all of a sudden, I started resonating with all these business owners. Today, I have a secondary business. A lot of you know, and that's kind of the people that I've been attracting, and that's become the niche for me. It starts off with multifamily, and ultimately, kind of feathers out into business owners looking for opportunities. And when you're in that space, those opportunities, you offer opportunities to your clients, but those opportunities start coming to you, which is really, really cool. So when it comes to the referral piece of this, when you're dealing with business owners, referrals are a natural thing because they're in business for themselves and they're naturally looking to get referrals and to refer business. I mean, that's just kind of the business cycle. And but how do you get referrals? In my opinion, there's 2 ways to get referrals. Number one You have to deliver exceptional service and exceptional value to your clients. If you do that, you're going to get a raving fan and they're going to refer you to their friends and family. And that's the idea. Ultimately, sometimes we start from zero, but at some point we want to get to a point where our business is working for ourselves and it's all referral based. So you got to deliver exceptional value and exceptional service. And if you do that, the business will come. Second way to get a referral is, it's really mindless, but you have to ask. You have to ask the question to your people, to your current clients, your past clients, your sphere of influence, whoever you're associating with. Do you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell any real estate? Are you looking to do something in the next 90 days? Do you own anything? When does your lease come up? All these questions, you just stay in conversation and make sure that you're top of mind with your people, but you got to ask for the business. It's amazing how much business you can get when you simply just ask for it. So, that's a practice that I've done and I've kind of implemented, and it's served me well. And I hope that, that's something that you can take away from this and it'll serve you well too. So the two ways to get referrals: deliver exceptional service and value to your clients. And number two, ask the question. Now, referrals, as far as referrals goes, and we're going to stay in real estate here. It's a real estate webinar. We're going to stay within real estate. There's three referrals sources as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there might be a million, but I'm going to talk about three of them. Number one, it's your current clients, past clients, circle of influence. They're going to refer you somebody that they know to do business with you. They're going to do that because you delivered value to them. You delivered exceptional service to them. They want to tell that to their friends. They're going to refer your friends to you. That's the basic. That's the simple number one. Number two is agent to agent. An agent referring you somebody that they know because why? Because you are an expert in a particular niche. So in my case, if I consider myself an expert in multifamily, just 15 minutes ago, an agent partner of mine called me. I'm in Las Vegas right now, right? 15 minutes ago, an agent partner called me and said, "Hey, Chris, I know you do multifamily. I got this guy out of the country. He's looking to do deals in Cleveland. Can you help me?" 15 minutes ago that happened. And why? It's because I became known and I sort of branded myself as somebody that is an expert in multifamily brokerage and multifamily properties. I would have never gotten that lead if I didn't put it out there that is kind of my space. So, and there's a lot of that. There's a lot of agents out there that have niches. And when you have a niche, you don't work outside of your niche. So what do you do when you get a lead or a client or a friend or family who wants to do something outside of your niche? You go out, you find the expert, and you refer the business. 20, 30% of something is better than 100% of nothing. We're all taught that, right? And but the way I want you guys to think about this, when you are referring business to other agents, how do you position that other agent to your clients? You got to position them as a business partner, not as just another agent that I know. If you position them as a business partner, automatically that builds up credibility to them, the agent that you're referring to, and the client is going to think, "Oh, he's got a partner. She's got a partner. I got two people actually working for me." So it's just a little twist on your language on how you position the referral, and it's unbelievable the direction that it goes, because now all of a sudden that referring agent, he or she is going to, I believe, we're not all created equal, but that other agent is going to feel a little bit of they're going to want to deliver for you, because now the relationship, it's financial to begin with, but now you're business partners, and there's that cadence of business partners and being financially aligned that you want to deliver for the client. So that's a major component that I think a lot of people miss. That is another thing that I hope that you can take away from this from this presentation. So the third and final, as far as this time together goes, referral source is referring an agent in your marketplace that to your company. Some people call it recruiting, some people call it agent attraction, some people call it whatever they call it. But fact is that we're all doing deals with each other in the marketplace. Some of us are with KW, some of us are with Century 21, some of us are with EXP, and we're all friends. We're all kind of like in it together. Yet we're all competitors to a degree, right? I mean, that goes without saying. Everybody's kind of chasing the same business sometimes, but when you do, meet other people in your marketplace, and you have something to offer, and you think that your brokerage, for whatever reason, might be a good fit for them, or just the fact that, hey, listen, let me tell you why I'm at this brokerage, and maybe it would be a good fit for you, could be a major pillar of income, depending on the brokerage that you're with. There's a lot of brokerages that put a lot of emphasis and energy and effort into compensating and incentivizing their agents to introduce the company to other agents in the marketplace. And there's some that don't do it at all, that find no value in it. Maybe they'll give you a Starbucks gift card or something else like that. They just don't put too much effort into it. When the reality of it is that in today's uber competitive market, in the real estate brokerage space, to not rely on the agents within the company to help the company grow is a real I'm going to call it scarcity mindset. We have to have abundance mindset, right? There's enough business to go around for everybody. But when you have abundance mindset, the universe is going to start talking to you and things are going to come to you. But if you have a scarcity mindset when it comes to building your business or building your brand, it's not going to last for very long. So to bring on and introduce your friend within or colleague within the marketplace, or even outside of the marketplace, to your company could potentially be a major pillar of income for you. Now, EXP Realty is one of those companies out there. I should say EXP Realty, EXP Commercial is one of those companies out there that saw the value of incentivizing the agent to attract other agents to the company. And we have grown to 68,000 agents globally, which is, a 2/3 of that, I think, were over the last 4 years. So it's been a massive value proposition that EXP offers. And the way that it really works, and I'm not going to dive too deep. And normally in this presentation, because I'm live here and because I'm doing this from my phone, and I may screw the whole thing up, I don't know. But, the way that it works, I'm not going to dig too deep into it. But the point is that you're able to drive referral fees from agents that you introduce to the company based on their production. And there's a whole thing that goes along with it, and it doesn't really matter. But what it does is it financially aligns all of the agents within the company to foster an environment of collaboration that is unmatched. I challenge anybody to match it, because it's impossible to do, because we're all owners of the company. And again, I'm not going to dive into the weeds on this, but we're owners of the company. We're incentivized financially to help each other and grow the company. And by that, what you get, kind of the secret sauce to EXP, which nobody understands. And I'm going to say something right now that I heard a couple days ago at one of the sessions here. When you're on the inside looking out, it's hard to explain. And when you're on the outside looking in, it's hard to understand, or you almost can't understand it and can't explain it. But the collaboration, because we are financially aligned, everybody's book is open, everybody shares, everybody is referring business to each other. So now all of a sudden we've got a network of agents that are referring business to each other. Resource number 2. And by bringing agents into the company, referral number 3, now you've got 3 solid sources of referral income that you're not going to have in potentially other companies. Now, I'm sitting here at a table that I sat down at another table to kind of set myself up, see where I'm going to see how the camera is going to work and the video is going to work. And the woman next to me at the other table, she says, "Are you Chris?" I said, "Yeah, I'm Chris." And it turns out that we're like in business together, and we didn't even realize it. We're in the table next to each other. So she was great enough to hang out with me, She's sitting right there. Jamie Rudolph. She's from Cincinnati. There she is. She's kind of giving me some moral support while I'm here live. She helped me set up the camera. But the fact of the matter is that we are all so aligned and willing to help each other that it just creates something that's kind of undescribable. And when you can monetize that, if you can monetize that for your own purposes while still helping others and not taking anything away from the other, it just really gets into something really, really special. And when I joined in September of 2019, 19,000 agents. Today, 68,000 agents, 18 countries. EXP Commercial now launched last year, which is a major piece to this whole puzzle. The other businesses that EXPI as a company owns and controls with, for the purposes of supporting the agents, yet opens it up to the other industries like Verbella is, it just means a lot. And we're traded publicly on the NASDAQ, EXPI. And, you look at that stock and how we're aligned, it really becomes a no-brainer. So, I'm going to pause on that, and I want to kind of go back to the whole purpose of the presentation. At the end of the day, we're talking about niches and we're talking about referrals and how you can work those two into your business. And I hope that I articulated that appropriately and well enough for you to get it, and maybe take something away. This podcast or this webinar, this is week 9, and it evolves, like everything. It kind of evolves. And this one was special for me because they're all live, but being here kind of on location in Las Vegas and kind of having a guest here with Jamie, that was pretty special, pretty cool. And, I'm just excited about the whole deal. So if there's anything that you guys need from me along the way, you know how to reach me. You can always call me, text me, 312-493-8171. And I value all of you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to take a quick peek and see who we've got here. Let's see. Randy, thank you, buddy. Thank you so much for joining me. And listen, if anybody else see the replay on this and you want my scripts, my multifamily scripts, I got 2 of them. Very easy to master. Just shoot me a message. I'll get them out to you right away. But until then, everybody have a great day, great weekend, and happy Veterans Day to all you people. God bless you all.